Hello，欢迎各位朋友们回到2021年第三届吃货美食盛典的 Zoom 直播间。那么现在我们时间已经来到了西部的1点半，东部的4点半。那么第三届盛典的第2天的下半场，也就是最后一个半场，现在正式开始。下半场的第一个 panel 就是我们本次活动的另外一位重量嘉宾 Lady M 的 CEO Ken。Lady M 和吃货小分队的渊源非常深。2013年左右，当吃货 CEO Amy 还是个人媒体创作者，并且还在写微博的时候，就曾经写过 Lady M 的测评，引发了华人圈的疯狂传播，并带起了 Lady M 门店的疯狂排队，可以说帮助点起了 Lady M 的第一团火。而 Lady M 也在通过更新的产品、更好的服务回馈给每一个喜欢吃 Lady M 蛋糕的粉丝。那其实刚刚大家可能也在评论区看到了，今天 Lady M 也会介绍他们新品圣诞礼盒，而且还会抽送给我们的观众全美邮寄，所以也欢迎大家在 Zoom 的直播间内通过 Zoom 的聊天室或者通过我们盛典微信群获得免费礼盒的抽送规则。那么接下来让我们有请 Lady M 的 CEO 和吃货小分队兼 AsiaCreative 的创始人及 CEO Amy 来聊聊疫情下 Lady M 的电商之路。 Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ken from Lady M。
大家好。
Wow. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, I'm very excited to have you here. And we've been keeping in touch for a long time. And just as Henry mentioned, we start to know each other in 2014, not 13, when you opened the first store in LA. And that's the moment that we start sharing about the grand opening of your shop, and you start noticing 吃货. And I really appreciate that for all those years, and you've been very supporting 吃货 too. And we are very glad to see Lady M expand a lot in the whole, global market. So yeah, I think since the pandemic and everything, you've been go through a lot, and congrats on the new baby. So yeah, just I think we will just have a casual chat. But first of all, I think for the challenge for Lady M will be also very big since the pandemic. But I heard that your e-commerce sector is booming. So yeah, just talk about what's going on and everything, and what's kind of the status right now. So yeah, could you please share some updates for Lady M for us?
Yes, of course. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for our long-standing partnership. I think we met in 2015 when LA was just about to open, and I think thanks to 吃货, we only made an announcement one day before we opened, and we literally had maybe over 500 people in line that stretched more than 3 blocks long before we opened in LA. Thanks to 吃货 and your partnership. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah. So I think where we stand today, based on the pandemic, it's things are not back to normal yet, but I think we obviously had a lot of challenges during the pandemic, but the first and foremost challenge was to make sure we kept everybody safe, and that included our staff, that included our employees, that included third-party partners like our vendors and delivery people and everybody. So that was probably the biggest challenge. But always making sure that we're keeping people's safety in mind was the first and foremost task, I think, of our management team. And based on that, we were very fortunate that we had an e-commerce platform in place. I think a lot of my other fellow entrepreneurs in the restaurant business or even in the dessert space that did not have an e-commerce platform obviously really struggled because they couldn't get their products to their customers. But we were very fortunate that we had an e-commerce platform in place. And due to the pandemic, we just really had to ramp up that production to be able to meet the demand that came from our e-commerce. So despite the fact that most of our stores were closed, physically closed, we were very fortunate to have an e-commerce platform to get the cakes to people.
So is the e-commerce will be like the focus right now? What kind of the strategies do you have in terms of e-commerce?
So e-commerce, I would say pre-pandemic, e-commerce was less than 10% of our business, about 8%. And then probably during the peak of the pandemic, it was probably close to 90% of our business.
Wow, almost like reverse.
Yeah, absolutely, almost flipped. And now that we've opened boutiques back up, we're probably still in the range of 25% of our e-commerce business of our sales. And that's kind of where we wanted to be. But because of the pandemic, and I think people's buying behaviors have changed, it kind of accelerated that growth in the e-commerce platform. And so we're very happy to kind of be in that 25 to 30% range of e-commerce. Sorry, do you guys hear my gardener? Sorry. Is it loud outside?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Perfect. And also notice that you actually, come up with a lot of new items. And I also actually bought a lot. For example, the moon cake, and you guys have the Christmas event calendar, and we just have a lottery later. So can you share the journey of product development journey and how you come up with those new creative ideas and how you make it happen?
Yeah, so I think one of the big new products that we put together during the pandemic was something we call Slice of the Best. So basically, before we used to sell a cake with a single flavor, and that's usually good for big parties. But during the pandemic, people were home, just two people, or maybe a small family of four. They couldn't eat the whole cake all at once after they defrosted the cake from the shipping process. So what we did is we developed a product called Slice of the Best, and that way people at home could defrost, a single slice or two slices a little bit at a time, so they can make the cake last longer during the pandemic. So that was definitely a big seller during the pandemic, and that all basically kind of came from customer requests saying, we want your cake, but we can't eat 12 slices in one night with just two people. So that was something that we came up with. Then, of course, we have a very strong Asian following amongst our Lady M fans, and we know the Mid-Autumn Festival or Lunar New Year is often a very important part of people's festive celebrations, and we wanted to make sure that we were part of that, and Lady M could be part of those celebrations. And so we also have advent calendars here that we've just launched, and we're working together with you. And I think we're doing some giveaways today for the advent calendar.
Right. We're gonna have that later.
Yeah. But these are all products, and we're always about celebrations and making sure we're making people happy, and these sort of gifts that people receive from Lady M fans, seems to make people happy, and that's what we're about. I like to say we're in the happy business.
Great. Yeah, actually, to be honest, as for me, I usually just buy the cake for myself because I just love to eat it. But yeah, I plan to buy several sets for some of my friends and some very important clients later. Yeah. So any interesting discoveries in terms of customer online shopping behavior? Because I think mostly you just shift your team and focus on the online part, and I believe that will be quite different from what you've seen for regards offline physical store.
Yes, exactly. Because I think in online, the online people are ordering a larger amount. So like I mentioned earlier, like the picture that you have showing now, the Slice of the Best, people being able to defrost a slice or two over a period of time instead of all at once was definitely something that really people online were enjoying. But I think the important thing is that people wanted to experience Lady M, but wanted to make sure that the quality was the same as that they experienced in the boutiques. And we were able to do that by investing in a lot of equipment, specifically blast freezers and equipment like that that really freeze the cake very quickly. So what happens is the cake freezes very quickly. So when you defrost it, it's not very runny. So you're still able to capture the proper texture that usually goes with a Lady M cake. So I think what people wanted is the same experience that they got in the boutique, and we just had to make sure we were able to deliver that somehow.
I think you've been have a lot of trials for getting the best presentations and the quality of the texture of the flavor. So yeah, I wanted to hear some more of, for example, what kind of experiences you've made in terms of the shipping packages and what kind of difficulties and how you tackle those difficulties.
Yeah, so obviously, we want the cake to arrive in perfect condition. So we have thermal packaging. We work directly with our dry ice supplier, which has been actually another challenge during this whole pandemic. There's a dry ice shortage across the United States. I think a lot of dry ice demand was needed for the transportation of the vaccines. So, these are all kind of new little challenges that we weren't expecting that are always popping up during the pandemic. There's a shortage of something somewhere, but dry ice was the challenge. So, we had to make sure we secure that, and the dry ice and the packaging, and working with a partner like FedEx to make sure it gets there, quickly overnight. And that was basically it. But once people got the box, when they open it up, they see the nice blue package with the Lady M, and we just want to make sure people get excited when they open up the box and see the Lady M name on top.
But the shipping cost must be very expensive.
Yes, unfortunately, it is very expensive. It's a perishable item, so it has to get there very quickly. So we have to make sure it gets to the people in 1 or 2 days, and it can't go past that, or the cake will not arrive in the perfect condition.
I see in our chat room, there are a lot of people just typing, I love Lady M, because I think the lottery is going on, and I think we're going to pick up some winners. So, everyone is typing, I love Lady M.
谢谢，我也爱你们。
Wow. Yeah, we love him too. Next thing I will be more interested in, like, what kind of role has the Chinese Asian customer play in the Lady M US market? Because I think you've been caring for this market, and for example the different seasonal products, and so I'm just curious, like in terms of like revenue, do you have any like data saying like maybe they contribute like more than half of the revenue? I don't know. I just curious.
I don't know if it's half, but obviously we appreciate the love and support that we get from all of the Chinese community in the United States and China and mainland China and in all parts of the world, and we're very grateful for that. And just so everybody knows, I actually 我也会讲国语一点点的. So,
wow.
So I feel grateful that I had the opportunity to study Chinese in my younger days, and it's paid off a bit. But we obviously have a large customer base from people from all over the world, but again, we can't thank the Chinese community enough. And I think what it is I think because Lady M, we use such high quality ingredients. We're sourcing ingredients from all over the world. We're getting chestnuts from France and flour from Japan and Canada, and from all over the place. And because we're using the highest quality ingredients as possible, we don't actually have to use a lot of sugar. So sugar is not the main ingredients of our cakes. And I think that subtle sweetness and the fresh ingredients that we use, I think that just really resonates with the Chinese community, and they appreciate the effort that we put into the cake. So, they've shown that appreciation by being loyal fans of Lady M, and we're very grateful.
Thank you, Ken, for providing, so delicious products. And I think you mentioned the point that I think you are definitely a product person, because you talking about, the sweetness, and exactly when we try those desserts in US market, like actually for Chinese people, it's too sweet. But I think your cake are more, customized to, the people in the Chinese market and also the Asian people. So yeah, speaking of the Chinese market, I'm just wondering, because I actually mentioned our talk in this event in Xiaohongshu. Have you heard the social media channel? It's called Red. It's like another social media. They're not WeChat. Another, yeah.
Like Red Book, or is it? Or?
Yeah, it's like a Chinese version of Twitter and Weibo. And so one guest mentioned that actually she's in Beijing and she really wanted to hear our talk, but she's curious. Like I think she mentioned that your store in mainland China are still closed, or it's open.
Some are closed.
Okay.
In China and lots of parts of Asia, leases are shorter term leases. So sometimes, after 2 or 3 years, we might choose to select a different location if, other opportunities come up. So, but I think, I think mainland China rebounded quite quickly. All the stores were closed for several months, but once they started opening up again, mainland China really picked up quickly.
Okay. So yeah, I wanna you should also share some of the experiences in China, but I know actually it's operated by a different group. But do you have any ideas on like what's the difference between the customer in China and also the Chinese customer in the US, or any other like differentiation, interesting insights? Because there are 2 markets here, right?
Yeah, there are 2 markets, but I think what makes us successful is that we don't try to change for the different regions that we go to. We try to stay to our authentic Lady M self, right? So we don't try to change it for different markets. It's really important for us to be able to replicate what you're doing in New York, and being able to take that overseas to the other countries that we've expanded to. So that's why whenever we go to a new country, obviously I'll be visiting, our chefs will be visiting, and it's really important that we're able to source the same ingredients. And if we can't get the same ingredients, we need to get something of a matching quality of what we're doing here in the United States. But yeah, we really don't try to change. I guess one small thing that changes, I think there's more tea. That is, more people drink tea in mainland China versus coffee like they do in the US.
I see.
I think that's one small thing. But
so you will provide more tea collection in Chinese market.
Yeah, again, but we're trying to make sure it's similar to what we're offering here in the US. Yeah.
I see. I think in US you just have the manufacturing in New York, and you ship to nationwide, right? Do you have like a?
We have actually multiple factories and warehouses, and one in New York, LA, and San Francisco. So we're you say bi-coastal. We're on the East Coast and the West Coast.
I see. Cool, because I thought like all the cake are shipped from one location. So for example, if I place the order online, and actually if I'm in Bay Area, then the cake will be from the warehouse of the Bay Area.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's basically the simple way to say it is if you're west of the Mississippi, your cakes are coming from the West Coast. If you're east of the Mississippi, your cakes are coming from New York.
Interesting. I see. Well, yeah, you must, consider the distance and the shipping quality and everything.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Have you considered, because we actually have quite a few audience from Canada. So do you have any future plan of Canada?
Yes, Canada is definitely someplace I would love to go sooner than later.
Great.
We do offer online shipping, but I'm sorry to say it's very expensive because it's international shipping, and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, we definitely would love to open in Vancouver and Toronto. someday in the near future. But, for our business, because everything is handmade, it's not so easy to replicate. So, there's a lot of places that we would like to open all over the world, but, we methodically expand slowly because, quality is not something that we ever want to give up. So we're always making sure that when we open up a new market, we're making sure we can meet our Lady M standards that we set for ourselves.
Great. I think that's one thing we definitely can, maybe we can do something together because we also have team, in Toronto and Vancouver. And I believe a lot of our fans, they don't care about, the shipping cost. But maybe in the future, you will consider maybe like put factory and manufacturing in Canada so that to reduce the shipping cost.
Yes.
But that's really exciting news. So let's get back to the e-commerce and the local stores, this part. And I'm just curious, like, what's the future plan? Do you still plan to open more local stores, or e-commerce will still be the major focus?
So I think with the pandemic, we did have very aggressive expansion plans here in the US, but the pandemic I put the brakes on the expansion. And but that said, we've had some great opportunities come our way because there's a lot of, unfortunately, the pandemic hurt a lot of, fellow entrepreneurs and restaurateurs, and unfortunately, a lot of people had to close their business. That said, sometimes mall owners who have a lot of vacancies might offer us a couple good opportunities, and a couple of those have come our way, and we're looking to expand to Seattle.
Wow.
Very soon, and San Diego as well. We are expanding to New Jersey in the American Dream Mall, which should open in early December. And we're looking to expand maybe one more store in Los Angeles as well.
Awesome. Is that possible? Is that because actually, since the pandemic, is that there are more opportunity to get the physical shops at maybe a lower cost or better deal with those shopping malls? I think the strategy is mostly you will love to partner with those shopping centers.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I guess what they're calling it a bit of a buyer's market. A lot of malls have a lot of vacancies right now. A lot of commercial properties have vacancies right now. So we're able to kind of pick and choose better opportunities that might not have existed prior to the pandemic. But so if it's a good deal, we'll go for it. We'd love to expand and reach more Lady M fans. But we're being more methodical about it. But the growth plans have definitely slowed down.
I see. Yeah. Well, that's also great news. But yeah, I think it also requires a lot of, the challenges, for example, for the whole team building, because I think if there's no e-commerce part, then you guys mostly will be the, staffs for offline stores, but you have like warehouses and factory and also e-commerce people. Yeah, I mean, as a entrepreneur for myself, I also wanted to hear more about like how's the journey like, and because we also have topics on labor shortages and human resources challenges. Yeah, can you also, as an owner?
Yeah.
And,
So obviously, we, during the pandemic, unfortunately, we lost a majority. We had to lose a majority of our staff. We just couldn't, like many other businesses in America, all the physical stores were closed. So, we had to reduce, more than a majority of our staff. And it's always a difficult thing to have to do, but, we were in survival mode, like many others. And so, we had to figure out how to, basically it was survival, right? How to survive. The government here was very generous in their programs that they provided for businesses like ours. And we were able to kind of leverage some of those opportunities from the government to slowly bring back people so we could kind of build back up to where we were. But we also, I think communication became a very important part of
definitely,
because things were changing on a daily basis. Rules were changing. You have to wear a mask. You can't wear a mask. You can only have 2 people. You could have 5 people. Rules were changing on a daily basis. So I'm proud of our management team. And we basically have meetings 7 days a week during the peak of the pandemic. We were working Saturday and Sunday, and it was important because rules were changing every day. We had to simplify our kitchen operations. So like during the pandemic, instead of offering maybe 15 cakes, we could only offer 7 cakes because we didn't have the staff to make everything that we used to make. But we wanted to get the popular items that people wanted. We had to change the way boutiques operated. Obviously, there's no dining in. So we were, it was all takeout, but we were doing, shorter hours so we could have single shifts and, obviously putting up, PPE, barriers
right,
and making sure everyone's protected and implementing like an online ordering strategy. We had curbside pickup. We did everything we could to provide a safe environment for our customers to get their Lady M cake because, people wanted to celebrate during the pandemic. People were still having birthdays, there was life was still going on, and we're really grateful that people still wanted Lady M to be part of those life celebrations even during the pandemic, and we wanted to make sure we could deliver that.
Thank you so much, Ken. I think what your spirit is really inspiring because our audience, quite a few of our audience are also people in the industry, and they've have the same survival mode since the pandemic. And for our as food lover or your customer, we just see the fancy appearance of Lady M, but we see the effort, how much effort you made to provide those products and share the happiness to our community.
Yeah, and you can see all the gray hair, right? So it's stressful.
Oh, I thought, wow, that's for the 2 years?
Yes, that's pandemic gray hair, yes.
Last thing, thank you so much for mentioning the long line we've made for the first store. I also wanted you to share maybe some more of the feeling because we are partnering with Lady M for the Christmas seasonal products, and I think the Christmas event calendar will be the upcoming featured item. So can you share some of your feeling regarding our partnership and maybe?
Yeah, so one of the new product lines from Lady M is called Lady M Bonbon, and what we created was a whole series of candies and chocolates and gummies that we work with vendors, artisanal candy makers in Europe, and so we're trying to source like some of the best candy from around Europe, and we've come up with a new line, and the reason for this is a lot of times people visit Lady M and they want to take Lady M home, but they can't because they're flying or they're walking around for the next 5 hours. But we wanted to be able to provide customers with a little bit of Lady M to take home, and this is part of the Lady M Bonbon line. And so we're really happy that people seem to be enjoying it. It makes a great gift. A lot of corporate gifts are being placed with this because now we could share part of Lady M without having to worry about putting it in the refrigerator. So a lot of the candies are kind of sourced to kind of mimic a lot of our cakes. We'll have like a creme brulee to kind of match our signature, and strawberry gummies to match a strawberry shortcake. So we try to mix and match it, kind of closely relate to our cake. So you could take a little bit of a Lady M cake home with you. And from this Lady M Bonbon line, we've kind of gone into other seasonal items like the Advent calendar that we were talking about. And, it's just kind of fun for the holiday spirits to be able to kind of share some of the traditions that a lot of people in the US make, and just to make it fun. And, we've partnered with Churro on this to to kind of get the word out through Churro and sell through Churro. And I think today we're giving away, it's the Merry and Bright 2021 Advent calendar you see on the left. So it lights up, it's very festive for the holiday season, and I hope people could enjoy it. But yeah, we're always happy to work with Churro, and we always appreciate Churro getting the word out for us. And I think when you want to reach the, the Chinese community, especially in the United States and Canada, I just reach out to Amy and say thank you.
Thank you, Ken, for your trust, and yeah, I believe that in the future you're gonna give us more fantastic products and experiences.
Yeah, I think one thing, if you go back a few, we have not announced it, but for everyone on the panel, if you could go back a couple slides, there's a sneak peek at our Lunar New Year box for.
Oh yeah.
For Chinese New Year.
I think this part, right?
Yeah. Coming soon.
Oh, it's coming soon. Great, yeah. Great. Year of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan to buy some sets for some of our panel friends. Yes, I heard, there's my friend Gary mentioning, take my money.
Oh, I guess it's hard to show up on the video.
Oh, you have that in your home. Cool.
I don't know if people could see it, but a little bit of a sneak peek.
Wow.
It's hard to see. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see.
But the red envelopes basically fan out when you open up the product, so it's kind of cute.
Thank you so much, Ken. Yes. Thank you. I think it's our time is up. Thank you so much, Ken, for sharing the whole journey, and great talking with you. And let's looking forward to the future, and keep in touch. And thanks for the great sharing. All right.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for your team, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah.